for us to figure out when is LeBron James going to finally make his decision. And then today some more news came out where his agent said that he's not going to make a decision anytime soon, right? So Skip Bayless then decided to take to his podcast to basically say that the reason all of this is happening, the reason LeBron is doing all of this is because he's trying to show the Lakers, get revenge on the Lakers, to show that I am still the man, even if you people don't see it. And look, I can hold the entire NBA hostage.
Skip Bayless just blew the lid off the LeBron James story, and the mainstream media is in total panic mode. While corporate sports networks call this free agency delay a masterclass in leverage, Skip is calling it what it really is, pure, bitter revenge. He didn't hold back, and we need to break down this live TV moment right now. Is LeBron dragging this out to get back at the Lakers, or did Skip go way too far this time? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
He is back at it again. So, as you guys know, LeBron James is literally going out of his way to make a spectacle of his entire free agency, right? He wants to show people that he's the man, and I can still control the NBA to whatever extent or to whatever degree I choose to do so. And then this is the latest case.
Let's dive straight into the main event, because Skip Bayless is holding absolutely nothing back. LeBron James is turning his free agency into a massive multi-week global spectacle. He wants to remind everyone that he's still the puppet master who can freeze the entire NBA whenever he wants. But let's rewind for a second. Corporate media has been in full damage control mode for weeks. When the Lakers and LeBron parted ways, the media spun a very specific story. They claimed LeBron gracefully walked away on his own terms. But let's be real. The Lakers dumped him. The front office flat out refused to give him a multi-year extension. They told him if he wanted to stay, he'd have to take a pay cut. Why? 'Cause they were ready to hand the entire franchise over to Luka Doncic.
This is so pathetic, yet so typical, so predictable. From the self-proclaimed king, the self-crowned king who has to keep crowning and crowning and crowning himself, to keep fooling his billions of blind witnesses into actually believing he's the GOAT.
So after being shown the door by the purple and gold, LeBron and his agent Rich Paul turned this entire offseason into a waiting game. Rich Paul even went on record saying LeBron won't be rushing any decision, claiming he's earned the right to take his sweet time. That's when Skip Bayless jumped on his podcast and laid out what's really going on. Skip called out the self-proclaimed king, saying this endless delay is a petty, calculated move to get revenge on the Lakers for embarrassing him publicly. He wants to make the Lakers sweat, make them squirm, and force the entire NBA to pause just to show off his power.
LeBron James is at it again, and this is an all-timer. He is going to milk this free agency for all it's worth, to the last bitter drop, for me anyway. I don't doubt that he won't sign until training camps open, because number one, he's always had ADD, attention deficit disorder, as in he almost can't breathe if he's out of the spotlight. Attention is his air.
Let's break down Skip's exact words, because he hit the absolute nail right on the head. Skip started off by calling this whole situation pathetic, yet entirely predictable, from a self-crowned king who has to constantly crown himself just to keep fooling his blind witnesses into believing he is the GOAT. Skip pointed out that LeBron is going to milk this free agency to the absolute last bitter drop because he thrives on constant media attention. Attention is his literal oxygen. He almost cannot function if the spotlight isn't zoomed directly onto his face. So, he and Rich Paul created an echo chamber to drag this process out as long as humanly possible.
And the truth is, this is mostly an attempt on the part of LeBron James to get even with the Los Angeles Lakers, to make them sweat, to make them squirm, to make them second guess dumping him. Because I'm going to say it again, I said it before it happened, and I reiterate.
Skip reiterated the core baseline truth that the media tries so desperately.
Bottom line, the Lakers kicked him out. The front office had simply grown sick and tired of the Kings Act.
The constant roster demands and the endless drama. They looked at their future, realized that Luka Doncic was never going to be happy sharing the stage with a 41-year-old superstar who demands all the credit, and made a firm business decision to commit 100% to Luka. They cringed having to pay him over $52 million last season, especially after watching the team get swept out of the playoffs yet again.
He and Rich Paul attempted to spin doctor this situation into LeBron chose to leave the Lakers. No, they chose to force him out.
When you evaluate his actual resume in Los Angeles, Skip laid out the brutal, unvarnished facts. In his entire tenure wearing a Lakers uniform, he missed the playoffs entirely twice, got swept out of the postseason twice, and got gentlemen swept twice. The single highlight was the 2020 Bubble Championship, a title that Skip rightly described as a cubic zirconia ring won after a 4-month mid-season vacation where half the league didn't even want to be in the building. And even during that bubble run, Anthony Davis was the actual best player on the floor for that team. Outside of that isolated bubble environment, his overall playoff record with the Lakers was an abysmal 16 wins and 26 losses. That is the actual baseline reality that the Lakers front office was dealing with, and that is why they...
I think they were grinding their teeth having to pay LeBron $53 million for this past season. Because once again, in the end, they got swept in the playoffs. So LeBron's Laker legacy is they missed the playoffs twice, they got swept twice, and they got gentlemen swept twice in his tenure in LA. And yes, they won one championship, which was the Mickey Mouse Championship in the bubble in 2020 during a pandemic.
Now, because his ego cannot handle the public perception of getting dumped, he is holding the entire league hostage. Think about how deeply embarrassing it is for the NBA when Commissioner Adam Silver has to go in front of microphones at public events and admit that the league cannot release its official broadcast schedule because they are waiting on one guy. The Christmas Day games, the opening night primetime windows, and the national TV slates are completely frozen. Adam Silver looks like an absolute pushover, allowing a single player to walk all over the league's operational schedule just to feed his personal brand.
Gets even crazier when you see how other players react. Draymond Green publicly mocked the league commissioner, saying all his complaining will just make LeBron wait even longer. When active players openly laugh at the commissioner on podcasts, you know it's a complete circus. But this is classic LeBron. The fake drama, the media leaks, the constant need for control. The media calls this delay ultimate strength. In reality, it's ultimate insecurity. When Michael Jordan walked away, he didn't hold networks hostage for 3 weeks or post cryptic videos. He made his move cleanly and acted like a professional. He didn't need the world to freeze to feel validated. Right now, we're watching a 41-year-old athlete act like a reality TV star who can't handle the fact that the world has moved on. He knows as soon as he signs with Cleveland, Golden State, or Miami, the hype ends and people start talking about actual basketball again. He's just dragging this out to shoot content for his next self-produced documentary, trying to rewrite history and claim he held the entire NBA in his hands at age 41. Look at his rumored destinations: a third run in Cleveland, teaming up with Steph in Golden State, or back to Miami. Every single option is a pre-packaged media circus designed to build his brand. He doesn't want to build a winning team. He wants a ready-made platform where he gets all the credit when they win and everyone else takes the blame when they lose. Give the Lakers credit. They were the first team in 15 years to look at this circus and say, "No thanks, we're good." Rob Pelinka knew that spending $50 million on a player who doesn't defend, demands full roster control, and gets coaches fired every 2 years was a dead end. They chose to build around a younger superstar in Luka Doncic, leaving LeBron scrambling to fake a story about walking away. When a star is in their prime, the media talks about highlights. But when father time catches up, the media switches to pure soap opera. They spend hours debating where his private jet is landing instead of showing how his defense has disappeared, or how he walks back on defense while the other team scores. That's why Skip Bayless calling this out is so refreshing. Most TV hosts are terrified of losing locker room access or upsetting agents. They walk on eggshells. Skip doesn't care. He looks straight into the camera and calls out the petty attention-seeking for what it really is. And think about the damage this causes. When one superstar freezes the market, dozens of role players are left hanging. Teams can't sign contracts, young players can't plan, and coaches can't build schemes. Entire franchises are stuck on pause just to feed one man's ego. Shows zero respect for other players, front offices, or the fans paying hard-earned money for tickets. Look at how legends used to leave the game. Kobe Bryant didn't hold front offices hostage. He played out his contract and gave everything he had. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson left with quiet dignity. They put the franchise ahead of their brand. They knew the game was bigger than any single player. With LeBron, it's backwards. Brand first, documentary second, basketball last. And let's be real about his wish list. If he joins Steph Curry in Golden State, the media will push the super team narrative instantly. But the moment they lose, the excuses will flow. He's too old, the bench is weak, the front office failed him. His PR team wins either way, but it's a total disaster for any locker room he joins. The Lakers saw this movie for 8 years and finally turned off the TV. No more trading draft picks or drafting family members to keep him happy. They gave the keys to Luka Doncic and took back control of their franchise. Skip Bayless completely pulled back the curtain, and the truth is finally out. Drop a comment below and let me know, were the Lakers 100% right to move on? Hit that like button, subscribe for real, unfiltered sports commentary, and I'll see you on the next show.